Dear students, now I am going to throw lights on newspaper organization. Needless to say, newspaper organization is very unique in society, and this organization differs from other organizations like SOAP or etc. in several ways. It's a unique, it's a responsible organization. Success of a newspaper depends upon several factors, and most important is nature of the organization. If the management is active, dynamic, bold, daring, then automatically it is possible to improve the sale of a newspaper. And policy of a newspaper, there is a direct relationship between ownership and the policy and the circulation. It is not so easy to circulate, it is not so easy to move the paper, and it depends upon the nature of the bold decision, for example, is very important. Lot of similarities are there between other organizations and newspaper organizations. For example, basic requirements to start in industries are, for example, maybe the water or raw materials, electricity, skilled and unskilled laborers, land, etc. are all very essential to start any organizations. Staffing, planning, recruitment, appointment of right person to the right job, etc. are very important in the success of an organization. And long-term strategy is also very important. So with such plan and precautionary measures, anybody can start and successfully operate a newspaper. And here also, newspaper organization also needs such planning and coordination. But again, this organization differs from other organizations in several ways. There is lot of pressure is there. Product is perishable compared to soap. This is perishable, and the speedy turnover, speedy movement, speedy circulation, that's very important. So with this background, let us discuss something related to the organizational part of a newspaper office. And irrespective of, I am going to throw lights on the typical newspaper, characteristics of a typical daily, irrespective of language. Okay, newspapers are divided under three categories, mainly small newspaper, big newspaper, and medium level newspaper. Whatever the nature, irrespective of, I am going to discuss the structure of this particular setup. And four major departments are very essential. Those are considered as a kind of wheel of a newspaper. They are editorial department, circulation department, mechanical department, and advertisement department. So editorial, circulation, advertisements, mechanical departments are like important wheels of a particular vehicle, and watertight compartment is not there between these departments. There is no question of supreme or inferior departments. Coordination between these departments are very essential. And first of all, editorial department, quality controlling department, also considered as a kind of salesmanship of newspaper office, collecting the materials, coordination of materials, publicity materials, selection and rewriting, translation, thorough knowledge and thorough reading, converting it into readable or simplification of complex issues, then preparing good headline, attractive headline, and pagination or page design, that is nothing but not simply dumping available information, but that is a kind of carefully designed effort or systematic planning, carefully designed effort of a particular newspaper office. So these are all the major responsibilities of editorial department. Editor is normally head of the newspaper office. Editor controls, editor is policy maker, editor is supreme authority, he is accountable to the court, judiciary, government, publics, readers, etc. He is a kind of main cook in the newspaper office, and credit goes to him, or he is completely responsible for the loss and profit. He is completely responsible for innovative idea in the newspaper office. He is accountable to the readers about a particular, he has to justify his plan and actions. He is completely responsible for the coverage of happenings in and around our society. And next, news editor is like a boss of newsroom. He is like a kind of bridge between the editor and sub-editors. News editor is not policy maker, but he is a kind of executive officer, implementing authority. News editor does administrative works. He controls subordinates. He controls sub-editors, allotment of duties, rostering, and maintaining the diary which contains valuable information about the happenings in the state and country, and maintaining the important phone numbers, contact numbers, mail IDs, address, etc., etc. Approaching the writers, prominent writers of the society, etc. are the important works of news editor of a newspaper, and coordinations regarding the selection of lead story and preparing saleable headline, etc. are also the major works of news editor. The next sub-editors are like unknown soldiers. They are also called as a kind of beautician of a newspaper officers. They are also described as live wires of a newspaper office. Sub-editors are there to prepare. Actual functions of a newspaper office are practically done by those sub-editors. Selection to the proofreading, etc. These are the major responsibilities. And normally, generally, news materials flow towards newspaper office from various sources like news agencies like PTI, UNI, reporters, press notes and telegrams, etc., etc., or public's contribution, etc. Sub-editor has to go through all these materials, and he has to select, he has to decide, he has to shape, he has to give a definite shape to the selected materials, and he has to prepare the good headline, and he has to prepare the page design, and ultimately proofreading, photo application, so caption writing to the photos, etc. are the major responsibilities of sub-editors in the newspaper office. Then generally, normally, logically, prepared or finalized newspaper move towards circulation department, mechanical department. So mechanical department is like magical multiplier, printing the ready-made materials. That includes DTP, data entry, page design, photo application, color combination, printing, etc. Skilled workers, technicians are important here in this particular department. Then normally, automatically, immediately, printed materials, calculated bundles, ready-made bundles move towards circulation department. This is distribution department. Newspaper is perishable product. Like KEB, circulation department has to prepare thorough plan, absolute plan for the distribution of printed materials to the customers who are scattered in different nook and corner of the society. And normally circulation department appoints or depends upon its own transport arrangements, government buses, train, plane, etc., etc. And also sometimes newspapers are being circulated through postal departments. So normally, major newspaper office has its own circulation network throughout the state or country. Main agents controls district level distributors, and district level distributors controls other area. And last but not least, advertisement. This is revenue bringing department of a newspaper organization. Mobilization of advertisements through various sources. It is the major responsibility of this particular department. Then in addition to these four major departments, photo division, library and morgue. These are very, very important or required department to run a newspaper in a systematic manner for reference purpose. Photo division is nothing but systematic preservation of various valuable photos. So library plays equally important role in preparing a newspaper office. Then morgue means nothing but a kind of valuable place for record earlier or old records. So together a particular organization become newspaper organizations. Thank you.